Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone doing Jason, welcome back to the Rundown, a 10-minute testing about 4 Master Duel. New set, Pog Champ, and new set, Pog Champ. Yes, that is right, Master Duel has a brand new set out, and while the contents aren't exactly the most meta, one of my favorite decks of all time has finally had its support imported. However, rather than rehashing a rundown we've already done in just a Master Duel format, instead, we're taking a look at a brand new version of the deck that I had never tried before. So, without further ado, please let me introduce to you K9 for Hire. That's right, today we're taking a look at K9 for Hire. A deck that saw a little bit of play in the TCG, but ultimately not too much. At the time when the Fur Hire support was first released in the TCG, I was more focused on the GMX variant of Fur Hire. I just felt like that deck was a lot more fun. There's a bunch of clips and videos of me playing it on the channel, so I suggest you go take a look at those if you want to see that version of the deck. But, of course, the GMX cards are not Master Duel, so I decided to play the more competitively viable version, which is with K9. It's been a while since K9's kind of been in the focus in Master Duel. Yeah, K9 Vanquishal is still kind of around, but with all the Vanquishal hits, it doesn't really place the same way it has in the past. Unlike the TCG, which has done a lot of hits to K9, the only thing we have here in Master Duel is Jokel being limited to 2 copies. So, K9 for Hire gets to exist in a much stronger form, and it's really nice that besides the synergies with the brand new Rex Ride for Hire being a level 5, the two decks also synergize together with the K9s being a bunch of different types, enabling pretty much any 2 guys to bridge you into full for Hire combo. All this comes together to make a deck that has a lot of unique interactions that I think are really cool. A lot of the time when I play a deck, I'm not looking for a deck that can just set out a bunch of negates and just stop everything, but rather do more layers, being able to set up Donpa, Rex's shared ride-like effect, and the power of Fulgo being able to draw you 3 cards on the opponent's turn. But that's enough about that. Let's talk card by card. First up, we got 2 Droll Knockbird, our mandatory 1 of Max C, 1 Donpa, Marksman for Hire, 3 of Rex Freight for Hire, 3 Ash Blossom, 1 Beat Bladesman for Hire, 3 Molcharmi Fulos, and then our K9 monsters, 3 Izuna, 2 Jokel, 1 Lantern, 1 Lupus, and 3 Noroi. Kind of crazy after seeing him get banned in the TCG that he's just sat at 3 here in Master Duel the entire time. Back to the For Hires for a second, we have 3 copies of the brand new Rex Ride for Hire. This guy can basically, if you have another For Hire card in your hand, can special summon that card, then itself in sequence, basically being able to turn on the effects of guys like Beat and Donpa, for instance, who need to see another For Hire get summoned in order to activate their effects. And then to round out our monsters, we have 1 Raphael Champion for Hire and the signature 1 Nibiru the Primal Being. Then to our spells, run 3 Fossil Dig, 1 Fandor the Flying Fortress, 3 of a card I cannot believe is still unlimited, a Case for K9, 1 Called by the Grave, Mayhem for Hire, Rookie for Hire, and K9X Forced Release. Over to the extra deck, we're playing 1 Imperial Princess Queen Carrie. While we are not doing any kind of level 5 Floodgate shenanigans, she is still nice for combo extension, being able to get us more types for more bridges. 2 K9 17 Ripper, Valon the Super Sai Skyblaster, K9 66X Jax, K9X Werewolf, K9X Ripper/M, Zeus, Typhon, Salamangreat Almirage, 2 Donner, 1 SP Little Knight, Keel Shipwright for Hire, and 1 Fulgo Justice for Hire. So that's the deck. Why don't we check out some games? Alright, here we are, game number 1, and our opponent is on one of those Dark Magician, Diabellstar, Dragoon Turbo kinds of decks. The thing you're pretty much always going to see on Master Duel until they do something about D-Mod or Dragoon, which at this point we can probably say they're never going to do anything about. We opened Izuna, Rex, Rafal, Case for K9, and Called by the Grave. Alright, we're going to start off with Case for K9, getting ourselves Jokel. Jokel effect, revealing that Izuna, summoning the 2 of them. Izuna effect to send Lupus. We then go Jokel effect to add Noroi. XYZ the 2 of them into our first Ripper, and then normal summon Noroi. Noroi is going to summon out the second Jokel, Noroi effect, sending that Jokel to look at the hand. Couldn't snipe it fast enough, so go back and pause if you want to see. Anyway, Ripper's going to add us Lantern. Lantern's going to target the Jokel and Grave, summoning the two of them. Lantern in effect now to get us K9 Force Release. And we'll go Link 3 into Fulgo. Fulgo effect is going to summon Rex from deck. Rex effect will then add Rookie for Hire. We'll then use Rookie for Hire, tributing Rex to summon Beat. Rex Ride for Hire effect, summoning Rafal in itself. Beat 1, Rafal 2. Rafal's going to dig 2 cards deep for us. Then case for K9, Nibiru, oh, I'm sorry, 3 cards deep, and a Fulos. Well, the third card didn't really matter, did it? Rex will then add us Dampa, which will then summon using its effect. Link 2 here for SP Lunite. Oh, geez, sorry about that voice crack. Then we'll set 2 cards and pass the turn. Yeah, this version deck isn't on IP Mask Arena. You could probably fit it over Typhon. While Typhon has come up for me in the past, if you really want to put in IP instead to not end like this, I suggest cutting that. Anyway, back to the game. Alright, so they're going to lead off with Called by the Grave on Lupus, which isn't really something I care about. Yes, that cuts off some interaction, but whatever. They then reveal Magician's Soul, sending Dark Magician choosing to summon the souls. They'll then Impermar Dampa, which does check the play I'm trying to do here, where I did want to use the Rex effect to check this souls, but summoning out Rafal, as long as we hit a Fur Hire here, does work. We'll chain block with the Dampa effect anyway, just in case. Maybe they have something that could interact with that, whatever. Revealed Neroid, Ash Blossom, and Mayhem. Well, Ash Blossom pretty much does the same thing anyway, right? So they're going to send 2... I'm sorry, they're going to send 1, so we let it through. They draw a card. They go Magician's Souls, get a random draw. We draw of Rex Ride for Hire, and then they will summon their own Typhon. Okay, well, it's time for Force Release, I guess. We're going to go ahead and turn that Ripper into a Werewolf, and then use the effect to pop that Typhon. They are locked out of summoning, and we now get to draw 3 more Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Commanding victory for Hire. So, for game number 2, we are going first once again, but this time our opponent is on Tearlament's Branded. Tear is kind of in a strange state in Master Duel. It's at a power level unlike what we've seen in the OCG and TG, having 3 Brilliant Fusion and Instant Fusion along with Kitgalos. But our opponent here has decided to mix that with Branded. There is a world where you open something like a Havness, allowing you to do brand plays on turn 0 if you get really, really lucky. Well, let's just hit play and see if this works out for them. Like I said, we're going first. We open Beat, Volcharming Fulos, K9 Neroi, Ride for Hire, and Mayhem for Hire. Alright, we're going to lead with that Neroi like always, summoning out nothing as it gets Ash Blossomed. Okay, this could be turn ending in any other hand, but thankfully we did open Rex. So we'll go Rex effect, summoning out Beat first, then itself to trigger Beat effect to search, which they then chain Havness. Okay, looks like we got a real match. Let's see what we hit off the Havness Mills, and we hit a whole lot of nothing. I mean, Retribution could do something. Maybe. Alright, let's go ahead and summon out the Rafal that we just added, revealing Force Release and Case for K9. Couldn't ask for 2 better ones myself. Case for K9 will get us Izuna, who's immediately online thanks to that Havness. Neroi's going to look at the hand, and ooh, got it right in time. They have Cartesia, Tearlament's Gashtira, and Called by the Grave. Now, resuming, we go Izuna effect, and we'll send ourselves the Lupus. Link 3 for Fulgo, Justice for Hire, summoning out from the deck a copy of Dampa, Lupus effect, summoning himself from grave, and let's go ahead and make ourselves the Ripper. Ripper will then search, getting us our K9 Lantern, and setting a Force Release, because they did in fact use a monster effect hand. Link 2 here for Donner, because I have a little bit of a plan. You see, we have Ripper on board already, and basically that checks if we got rid of this Havness by card effect, which would usually trigger its effect to fuse, we can just negate it with Ripper, which will then force them to use that tier cache we just saw, banishing the Havness to maybe hit some other mills. Alright, now let's see how this goes. We summon back Dampa and Rex. Dampa sees that, so he pops the Havness, and we go Fulgo, draw 3, which they surrender. So, Yeah, while that did look like they instantly scooped the second we popped Havness, that in real time they actually just sat there about 2 minutes of just pure thinking on if they wanted to trigger that Havness effect or not. They realized they were in checkmate, like I said, so they scooped it up. So for game number 3, we are going second. Our opponent is playing Earth Machine. You can see here we open Rex, Jokul, Lantern, Call by the Grave, and K9 Forced Release. All right, let's see what they can do. While we have 0 hand traps, they're going to lead off with the exceptional schedule, adding themselves Urgent. Let's fast forward a little bit, giving us a token and activating the Urgent, summoning 2 Scrapper Cycler and Blue Train, triggering Derek Train's hand. Link 1 for the Clockwork Knight, which they will then send the Blue Train to summon back the Scrap. Scrap effect, sending Trencher. Link 2 now for Cleafort Genius. Blue Train effect, summoning back Scrap again, putting them both in the Cleafort zones. Cleafort 1, Scrap 2, sending Harvester and adding Crab Crane. XYZ now into Flying Launcher effect, adding the King, and then activating his effect, targeting Clockwork Knight to summon himself. Trencher effect, going to summon out Harvester effect, getting them Road Roller. Turning the 2 of them into 5s for Riverstormer, then going to add them Tunneler. You're going to pop their own Clockwork Knight and then use Schedule's effect, targeting Blue Train to then send the XYZ. Express effect, summoning itself from hand, making Gustav, burning us for 2k, and then immediately turning into Gustav Rocket. Crab Crane tributing the Genius, summoning itself, triggering the Road Roller to summon itself. Now they add Outrigger Extension. Link 2 for Two-Headed Anger Knuckle, Link 1 for Infantry Goliath. Riverstormer effect is going to tribute the Goliath, summon itself, Goliath effect attaching itself to the Gustav Rocket so it will not destroy itself. Outrigger target Riverstormer to make Cash Tira Arise Heart. Pass. Yes, that's right. Our opponent here is, in fact, setting up 2 Monster Negates and then ending on Arise Heart. Monster Negates, Omni Negates, whatever. Alright, we draw for turn. It is Fandora. Let's immediately switch that token to battle and swing over the Regulus. Boom! Checking that at least. But we do give the Arise Heart 2 material. They attach, very fun, they attach the Road Roller. So now, because it's under Machine Xyz, everything we summon is forced into defense. So basically we got 2 floodgates here with Field on board. Alright. Jokul will reveal Lantern. Arise Heart puts them both in defense. Immediately Xyz these 2 into Jax. Will Jax effect targeting the Anger Knuckle. Chaining Force Release, because they did not negate Jax. Obviously, why would you negate Jax when it's going for Anger Knuckle? But that's fine. Force Release resolves. Thankfully, they only had 2 material on that Arise Heart. We then summon out Werewolf, and then use the Force Release to pop Arise Heart. Alright, that's 1 problem down. Leaves them just with this Gustav Rocket. Let's now activate Fandora Normal Sun Rex, which meets the Ash Possum. Thank God, that's exactly what we were looking for. Werewolf effect, let's go ahead and take a look at that hand, but they decide to negate that with the Rocket. I'm sorry. Effect to banish, of course. Effect to banish. What am I thinking of? We had checked the Gustav Rocket there. Ooh. This is what happens when you do like 3 takes of post-commentary. Anyway, let's go Fandora, add Beat Link 2 for Donner. Donner effect to tribute herself, and then summon Beat, and then summon Rex. Beat now will add Rafal. Then use its ignition effect to immediately summon the Rafal. Rafal is going to dig 2 cards, Ash Blossom and Rookie. Nice. Anyway, let's take your Ash Blossom. Link 3 into who else but Fulgo. Fulgo effect summoning from the deck Donpa. Rex Freight for Hire effect. Banishing itself, summoning back Rafal. Triggering Donpa to pop that back row. And that's a card destroying the opponent's field, so let's go ahead and draw 3 cards. Case for K9 plus double Noroi. Couldn't ask for better ones myself. Go ahead and add Izuna. Keep in mind, they have activated plenty of cards, so Izuna is online. Izuna sends Lupus. Lupus effect triggers. Let's Xyz now into Valon. Also, why don't we make Typhon? Because this guy cannot be destroyed, we'll go Typhon effect, detaching Rafal, bouncing it back to their extra. And passing turn. Not the most crazy board, but Typhon against Earth Machine is pretty damn good. We'll go ahead and ash that exceptional schedule, can't have them going for any urgent, but of course if they already have it in hand, we are just boned. Anyway, they'll go ahead and activate Anger Knuckles effect, pitching the Tunneler we knew they had, summon itself, triggering Daracrane. Daracrane's going to summon itself as well, then use the Graveyard effect exceptional, targeting Blue Train, sending Anger Knuckle to summon it. Tunneler then triggers, targeting a bunch of Earth Machines in grave. All extra deck guy shovels them back, draws 2 cards, Roadroller effect triggers, summoning itself as well. Exceeding 2 into Gustav, but we can't have Rocket coming back, so let's go ahead and Valiant flip that down. They activate Heavy Forward, adding themselves Harvester, but they can't use that yet. Or ever. We go ahead and draw for turn Maxi, which they'd reveal their Maxi. Okay, let's just Maxi them right back. How do you like it, buddy? I love Master Duel, where we have to play with this card, don't we? Okay, let's link to get Typhon out of here. Summon Donner Dagger for Hire. This triggers both Dampa and Valon to pop both their monsters. Boom. And boom. Fulgo, seeing that, draws 3 cards, Droll, Ash, Izuna. Great ones. Anyway, this is lethal. So we're just swinging with everyone and win the game. Oh boy, howdy was playing through that Arise Heart. Not fun. Not fun, people. Not fun at all. But it ended up being a great game where I got to just, show that I'm better than my opponent at Yu-Gi-Oh, huh? So we're back with decking. Hey! That's pretty good. But let's talk strengths and weaknesses. First, the strengths. The deck has so many bridges and starters. Being able to flex our way into either side of the deck is obviously really powerful. The end board is also incredibly flexible. Because we're not just trying to end on all these ridiculous Omni negates, we can really stretch out the way we use those end board pieces, conserving things like the few negates we do get, and instead focusing on things like the destruction from Force Release, the hand looping from Werewolf, or just drawing a bunch through Fulgo. We also get the ability to play on turn 0, being able to use a card like Maxi or Fuelos to find Izuna or Lupus, which allows us to make powerful Xyz plays on the opponent's turn. The deck is also very flush with extenders. Both engines really excel at being able to just keep playing. While they do have their choke points, you're often drawing hands that have multiple plays. The deck, in my opinion, is also very skill expressive. As you saw in that last game against Earth Machine, we had to play through a lot, and it was a lot of just checking our opponent on if they knew what to stop and where, and then also being able to effectively bait them into using their interaction on the wrong cards. But with all strengths do come weaknesses. First of all, Max C. Unfortunately, we have to special summon a lot. Just trying to do the normal Fur Hire play of like Rex into Beat, into Donner, trigger Beat. That alone is like 5 summons and 5 draws off Maxi. And the K9 cards, while yes, they can, like, if we get Maxi or Fuelos or Cerulean, they can chain with Izuna or Lupus, but just doing Ripper Pass isn't really much of an end board. The K9 half of the deck also has a kind of devastating choke point in Noroi. Basically, if we choose to use our normal summon on Noroi, we need exactly like Jokul and another name, or Rex and any Fur Hire to even play the game after a Noroi gets negated. The deck also isn't fantastic into Droll and Lockbird. We have some plays. If we can manage to get into the Fulgo bridge, we get to summon out Dampa or like Rex from deck, but we can't really maximize those cards while under Droll. And also, you'll see from the extra deck, we are kind of weak to Cool Tune. We're playing mostly one-ofs in the extra, so a well-timed banish from there, whether it's when they can actually look or just hit a random card, and we might get cut off completely from our bridges. If we lose Keel or lose Fulgo, we can pretty much kiss the Fur Hire cards goodbye. But with all that said, This is still one of my favorite decks to be playing in Master Duel right now. If I was going to put up like a top 5 of decks I like to play, this would definitely be in the top 3. Before I say goodbye, I would like to say, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. What comment can you leave? Well, why don't you let me know if there's a deck you would like to see me feature on this series? Thanks again for watching. Goodbye.